In late October of 2023, Gibson came out with the Custom Color series. It took the 50s and 60s Les Paul standards and really revamped them in a massive way that we have finally come to see pretty much the end of their run. Some of these colors are starting to get faded away and they're starting to bring more things. But Gibson has just launched the Custom Color series onto a new model. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. This time, in a surprising turn of events, it's the ES335. And the first finish is going to be called Watermelon. Now this one's actually kind of cool because there was a custom shop version of this that unfortunately I never got around to reviewing. I suppose to be fair, it was actually an ES355, so it's got the golden hardware, it's got the fancy tortoiseshell pickguard. But these things were ridiculously expensive. I'm pretty sure it was like $7,500-ish brand new, so that is not attainable for your average player. So Gibson USA said, hey, people like that color, let's do it. So let's come over to the sponsor of tonight's episode, Sweetwater, and look at some of them. It looks like they're going to vary, like some of them are lighter in colors than others. Some of that comes down to the maple that they're using on it, other times how that's sprayed. So if you're in for that lighter red hue, it seems like this will be the finish for you. As much as I like the custom shop version, I'm not sure I quite dig the Gibson USA. Maybe it's a bit too faded, but it's certainly a lot cheaper, as the non-figure tops are $3,500. And just like last time on the Custom Color series, they didn't change anything about the guitar as far as I'm aware. Next up, I saw this get leaked a little bit early and I got excited. Spearmint? Yes! This was actually a really cool color birthed in the late 90s as far as I'm aware of using that exact name, but it's kind of like a lightish green hue. It looked pretty cool on the Les Paul specials and a few other things that you could find then. Now the stock photography looks a little bit dark, but going on over to Sweetwater's website, holy cow! This is why you want to see a photo of your guitar. The lighting looks even across all these. The serial number ending in 141 over here is like almost black. You'd have to get the light on that. Whereas you come over here, these are completely light. Let's see how the backs are on those. Yeah, at least it's consistent on that first one. So on first glance, I'm really digging the Spearmint, especially if you can find one with a slightly darker rosewood board. Like if I had to choose one on this page, I'd probably go for this guy. And then we also got an ocean blue within our plain tops. In our stock photos, looks like you still get the natural neck, whereas the finish is all over the body. And more so along that, you get the continuation of the finish on the back, and like we see in the mod collection all the time, the natural neck. As far as our real life examples, it looks like you can find slightly darker ones too. But a lot of the wood grain is fairly consistent. Like over here in a small sample size of 5, you can expect a lot of waviness in your grain. But then these two, they're a little bit straighter. But then from the back, it looks like this launch batch has fairly consistent colored mahogany necks. But hey, look at this one. It's got the candy cane striping within it. So watermelon, spearmint, and ocean blue are your 3 new colors on the plain 335s, joining the original 60s cherry, vintage sunburst, as well as the ebony finishes. However, there is a Gibson.com exclusive, and I'll be curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this one. It's a gold top, which kind of helps cut down on some of the randomness of just ordering off a Gibson online. You know they're all going to look about the same, since you don't have to worry about wood grain patterns or anything. But instead of being a gold top with a light back, they gave us, I don't even want to say that's a dark back option, that just looks straight up black to me. I would love to see a natural back version of that as well get offered in the future. But this paint scheme kind of reminds me of a Kiefer Sutherland signature. Now this was a 336, kind of a smaller body 335. It's got the crazy small Super 400 inlays, but it's got that golden finish. Although this model has the light back, but certainly a lot easier and cheaper to purchase one of these. But that's not all. There's also figured tops that got new colors. So we can start with a pretty tried and true honey amber hue. Yep, that one looks pretty good in the stock photos. Kind of tiger striped. And then we get the continuation of that on the back and a natural neck. As far as in the flesh examples, how are the tops doing? It's easier to get the 335s because they're just laminate tops. So I would imagine most of them would be pretty good. But whoa. This photo looks like it has its brightness up, so I don't think we can judge that color. But this one is certainly a lot darker, and it's got some cool figuring. But check this one out. They actually called it the Blood Moon Burst. I'm sure it was between that and Cherry Cola, because that's what I think when I first look at this thing. It's just delicious, and I don't even consume that beverage. But something about that redness matching with that fretboard, and then you get the continuation of the black neck joining on to the black edge burst. But it looks like in the flesh, this finish is coming out really dark. So if you're looking for wood grain that's super popping from far away, this might not be the choice for you, but they do look pretty tasty. If I was going to choose one out of this 5, I'd probably go with this. Because when you flip it over to the back, it's pretty consistent, but ooh, I do like that back. But then they also introduce Deep Ocean Burst. So at first glance, looks like it's going to be the same as the Blood Moon, except for blue. I'd say a pretty safe color choice on that. But this time, looking at the background, the one that's like very bright is super dark. So yeah, that's a really dark example if that's what you're going for. Otherwise, it kind of reminds me of some of the cobalt finishes that we've seen recently. But the one that speaks to me out of this photo set, it's got to go over here. But just like our last batch, there is a .com exclusive. And it's gotta be my favorite one. I'm likely gonna pick this up for review and documentation. They called it Ocean Water Perimeter. So at first you might just think, yeah, it's not that different from what we just saw. It's just a lighter blue hue, which brings out some of the grain. But no, look at it. Yes, they painted the neck, but it's got that weird phenomenon where maple is a lighter color, mahogany's darker. So the exact same finish looks blue on one and green on the other. I've always loved that phenomenon. Sometimes it's the opposite, where it's the mahogany body maple neck, like on this Les Paul Futura. But I was excited to see that make a comeback. And it certainly gave us a little bit more variety just from a regular 60s cherry, iced tea, and antique natural within the flame top offerings, which are $500 more expensive at $4,000. Now, do I need to do a crazy unboxing where we get one of each? I don't think so. That's not enough guitars to make the circle photo shoot. And that was like the whole point of that video in 2023. But then again, 335s are larger guitars. But I'm really sad that Gibson didn't include their 2 custom colors in this beautiful photo shoot. But it's probably because they wanted to give something to the dealers that they could advertise with. But that's the new 8 colors to the 335 custom color series. But our fun is not over yet, because Epiphone is joining the lineup of custom colors, taking the regular Epi 60 standard, giving it a blueberry burst, iced tea, heather poly, fuchsia, ebony top, and silver mist. And wow, yeah, those are varying quite a bit. I've never been a big fan of the way blueberry burst turns out on the Epiphones though, because usually they get an obnoxiously red border. However, I could learn to love this, but it still doesn't feel like blueberry burst the same way that Gibson does it. But it's kind of an interesting muted blue with a little bit of, oh no, there's a shark in the water mixed in. Oh, nice, blue back. I do like that. Out of these offerings, I would probably choose $239. Our new ebony top, this is just like what we saw out of the Gibson USA custom color series. They basically just delayed this until it ran through its course. You get the ebony top and the natural back, which might not sound exciting at first. However, it is a very nice look once you have it in your hands and you can see those 2 colors playing off of each other. They're gorgeous guitars. And fuchsia is kind of like a pinkish hue, some darker, some lighter. I'd say most of those tops actually turned out pretty good for an Epiphone, with your standard backs going on. But man, I'm jealous Heather Poly never made it to the Gibson USAs. It's such a good color because you don't see it every day. And they decided to go for the whole natural back phenomenon. I think out of the colors I've seen so far, if I was going to review one, it would have to be one of these. And then iced tea appears to be very traditional. I would say 398 here has the best coloring. Like, that's got a really dark, rich border that truly does remind me of some of the Gibsons. But then once you look onto the back, it's all the usual Epiphone stuff. But now I'm curious about the silver mist. First thing I see is a lot of light colored fretboards. But is it? Yeah, sure enough, natural back. So it is a silver top, natural back, another one that would have been cool. And maybe we will see it get introduced in the custom color series that Gibson USA has. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, that's why you look at the photos. Look at this guy's neck. Jeez. A decent amount of flame figuring. And like, look, you've got some sort of a join right here, but yet it still continues. That's a cool one. But then there is a .com exclusive Cobra Burst. Now, I'm not saying this is the first time that Epiphone has used it, but it's the first time that it's came to my attention, at least on a Les Paul standard. That is a very good, typically custom shop style finish outside of the ES LPs. But I think that looks fairly attractive. I was fearing the ebony back, but no, it's actually just a dark back. It's got the kind of brownish hue to it. That's a winner in my book. And then we can move on to the customs. Looks like they're moving on to a flame top cherry sunburst Epi. Nice. And it's not one of those ridiculously expensive Epiphones either. $800, still a sizable investment, but now with a more 70s inspired finish to it. But if anything, it kind of reminds me of the 90s era, because that's when they did a bunch of the custom plus tops. And it's still bound on the back. I'm kind of surprised they didn't raise the price on that, putting a flamed veneer. Same thing's true for the SG customs. It used to be white and black, but now there's a new wow. I do like that. Inverness Green SG custom? Yeah, somebody hit me up. Let's new guitar day it. I can make some exceptions on this. That is a mighty fine looking beast. The colors kind of come out a little bit lighter than on some Gibson offering, but it's got that metallic nature to it. That looks good. And now it looks like the custom color series is going on to the SG standards as well. So you get the TV yellow, as well as the basic cherry that we've had, ebony, silver mist, and the Pelham blues. That's another good color. But now the SG Prophecy with an aged jet black metallic and aged Bengal tiger burst. But our new exclusive is white tiger burst. These natural into white bursts are always interesting. There's like Les Paul Supremes that utilized a similar thing. Not my favorite, but hey, at least it's different. And then the Les Paul Tribute, a model I have not really done too much digging on. Used to come in all these different hues, but they now have a new exclusive in aqua. That's kind of fun, because it's got that bright blue all over. Same thing is true for the SG Tributes. Used to come in the black and cherry, now also having aqua on that. I believe that catches us up on our new offerings. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Don't forget to visit our sponsor, Sweetwater, to purchase any of these new guitars using my affiliate links down in the description, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care.